Today we're going to talk about the powerful and really deliberate way actor Eric Dane chose to share his final chapter with the world, leading up to his passing on February 19th, 2026. And we're actually going to start this story at the end, because the day after he passed away, a message he had recorded for his family was released to the public. In this one line, it captured everyone's attention. To really understand the impact of those last words, we've got to look at the timeline of his final year. It puts everything into perspective. When you look at this timeline, you can see it's not random. There's a clear and very intentional pattern here. From the moment he publicly announced his diagnosis to the pre-planned release of his final interview, every single step seems to be a conscious decision to control his own narrative. But to really get a handle on the man who left that message, we need to go back to the role that made him a household name all over the world. So, back in 2006, Eric Dane shows up on Grey's Anatomy as Dr. Mark Sloan, and what was supposed to be just a short guest role, it completely blew up. His portrayal of this charming, confident plastic surgeon was so popular that it turned into a 6-season run. That kind of fame, though, it comes with a price. And for him, it brought on intense pressure and coincided with some really personal challenges that, to his credit, he later spoke about with incredible honesty. His sudden exit from the show back in 2012 left fans wondering for years. I mean, why would he leave right at the height of his character's popularity? It was a major question. Then, in a remarkably candid 2024 podcast, he gave his own take on it. He admitted his personal struggles meant he wasn't the same guy. And then he just put it out there, saying, "I was probably fired." He suggested that his own actions definitely played a big part in the show's decision. And this wasn't a one-time thing. He was consistently open about his battles with addiction and mental health over the years, which gave everyone a pretty rare and candid look at the reality behind that celebrity image. Now, after Grey's Anatomy, Dane made a very conscious choice. He decided to move away from the persona that made him famous and started taking on roles that were, a lot more challenging. And, talk about an artistic pivot. This was a complete 180. He went from playing the charismatic McSteamy to embodying the deeply flawed and, frankly, unsettling character of Cal Jacobs in HBO's Euphoria. It was a total transformation of his public image. And you don't have to take our word for it. According to Dane himself, this role literally changed how he saw his own work. He explained that the depth and the slower narrative pace of Euphoria, that's what finally allowed him to feel like a true artist. This artistic reinvention really did set the stage for what would become his final, and you could say, his most courageous public chapter, facing his battle with ALS. So after he was diagnosed with ALS, a disease that progressively takes away muscle control, Dane didn't retreat. It was actually the opposite. He became a really passionate advocate, using his platform to raise awareness and push for research. In that posthumously released Netflix special, Famous Last Words, he had a very specific audience in mind. He was speaking directly to his 2 daughters. And here's the thing that makes these lessons so powerful. They weren't just, generic advice. Every single one was clearly rooted in his own life experiences, in the very struggles that he had been so open about. But the video message wasn't the only thing. He also worked to leave a written record of his journey for his family and for the public. Turns out he had completed a memoir, and he actually explained his motivation for the project in his own words. So his intention here was crystal clear. He wanted to create a record that would, yes, make his daughters proud, but also might help other people find meaning by remembering what it means to live with heart. So when you step back and you look at the whole picture, from this pop culture icon to a really complex actor, and finally a public advocate, his story is this uncommon arc defined by a refusal to be boxed in and the courage to face hardship with real intention. And he concluded that final public message with this simple, powerful, and definitive statement, leaving behind a legacy of honesty and of love.